Hello, everybody. First and foremost, thank you guys so much for being here. I know he would have been so happy to see each and every face in this room, truly. Dang it, I knew this was going to be hard, but I didn't know it was going to be this hard. So for those of you that don't know me, my name is Alyssa Tabit, and I had the honor to be Kenneth Clifford Taylor's granddaughter, one of them. And it's kind of crazy because the morning after Grandpa passed, I immediately got into a group text with my sister Brienne, my dad Rick, and my mom Valerie. And we immediately started sharing our favorite photos of Grandpa, our favorite memories, and we laughed, and then we cried, and then we laughed again. And it was at that very moment that it dawned on me just how much bliss and joy Ken Taylor brought to so many people's lives. And we really started reminiscing, and my sister and I go, Gramps gave the greatest nicknames. When I was a little girl, he taught me how to play so many different card games, which I know he did with so many of our cousins. And for some reason, whenever we would play, I'd always win. So he deemed me Lucky Lissy, and even until the last conversation I ever had with him, he would always greet me with a sweet, kind, amazing voice saying, Lucky Lissy, it's so great to hear from you. And likewise, he would call Brienne, Briannie Annie, Hottie Toddy, and he just had so much fun with us grandkids. And on the same note, Gramps was a jokester. He liked playing tricks on all of us grandkids. And there was one time, we're all in the kitchen, or Brienne and I are in the kitchen, Grandpa's cooking, and he's like, girls, come over here, I want you guys to try these chips. So we go over and we grab some of the chips and we eat them, and we're like, Grandpa, what kind of chip is this? And he's like, it's garlic. And we're like, why are you feeding us garlic chips? And he just always had so much fun playing with us. But all jokes aside, Grandpa loved to give us grandkids incredible memories. And there was one summer of '96, Cousins Reunion represents. And we all went to our grandparents' house in Scottsdale, Arizona, and our grandparents brought us out on the boat. We swam, we had Kentucky Fried Chicken, we played in the pool, we took naps outside on the hammocks, and we just had the best time ever, and we made family memories that I know all of us will treasure for the rest of our lives. And as we continued reminiscing in this group thread, it really dawned on me just what a great influence my grandfather had on my life, and really shaped the individual that I am today, because I was very lucky and fortunate, and I got to grow up very close to both of my grandparents, and hence I would see them all the time. And as you can imagine, I had many firsts with my grandfather. When I turned 16, I wanted to go get my driver's license. So on my birthday, my grandpa drove me to the DMV, and Gramps, he had the greatest intuition, and you could tell on our drive over, I was feeling a little nervous, I was really tense, and he's like, Lissy, what's going on? And I was like, I'm so nervous, I want this so bad, because at 16 years old, that's a really big thing. And he turns to me and he goes, okay, listen, I have to ask you a question. I know you've studied all the material, I know you've done all your practice hours. Do you think you know all of the material? And I thought about it for a minute, and I go, yeah, actually, I really do. I really studied very hard. His next question to me was, well, do you believe that you can do this? And I thought about it, and I go, I know the material, I believe in myself, and I got so excited, and I go, yes, Grandpa, heck yes, I still can do this. So I give him a kiss on the cheek, I run into the DMV, and about an hour later, I come out of the DMV, and I'm real sluggish, and like I have a frown on my face, and I get into the car, and he goes, oh no, and he goes to give me a big hug, and all of a sudden I go, just kidding, I passed, I got you back, Gramps. See what happens when you give me garlic chips? But it was that moment of him asking me those questions that just showed me how to not get in your head, how when you want something, you go for it. You don't think about it, you don't second guess yourself. If you know it, you do it, and if you don't know it, that's okay. You fail, you get back up, and you try again. Grandpa was such an executor, he's such a doer. His advice to me was always just start, just do it. And so I took away, even from that day, such a pivotal lesson that continued to be a huge moment in my life every single day, just making the decision to start and to do it. And on that same day, because it was my birthday, we decided to go to this restaurant called Mykonos, and it was this beautiful Greek restaurant, and my entire family was there, my grandma, grandpa, mom, dad, sister, and of course, I had a bunch of my girlfriends because I was turning 16, and this was serious business. I had to have my girlfriends with me. So we walk into Mykonos, and there are belly dancers, incredible music, which Gramps, of course, loved. We all know how much he loved music. And there were these big wooden tables that they sat us down at. And we go and we enjoy our dinner. It was delicious. The belly dancers come around. They're all dancing. And all of a sudden, I turn to Gramps and I go, Gramps, us girls really want to dance, but there's no dance floor. And he goes, okay, let me look around. So he looks around. There's no dance floor. And Grandpa decides to get up on this wooden table and without missing a beat, goes like this and says, Lissy, you want to dance? And all of us girls look at each other, and at the same exact time we go, yes, let's do it, 16 years old, let's rebel, you know? So we get up on this table, dance the night away. 15 minutes later, every single, person in this restaurant is on their respective tables dancing. And it's just moments like these that Grandpa showed me, you know, dance to the beat of your own drum, carve your own unique path. You are yourself. Don't worry about what other people think. Just get out there, do it, be a leader, have fun. And that birthday just was such a wonderful memory I will forever hold near and dear to my heart. And guys, there is photo evidence. You'll see in the slideshow Grandpa on this table dancing with all the young girls, so look out for that. But another first I have with my grandfather, believe this or not, sorry Mom and Dad, I had my first adult beverage with Gramps. Sure did. And it was actually, Dad, at your birthday, and we had, you know, just this huge party, so many people there. We had a ton of music, just so much fun. And like I mentioned, Gramps loved his music, and before he passed, he actually came to me, and he gave me hand-selected songs. He goes, Lissy, at my celebration, I want to make sure that you play this for everyone. I want everyone to enjoy this. He was always looking out for everyone else. And he goes, I want to set the ambiance. I want you guys to celebrate. And that was honestly a hard conversation to have, but of course, I absolutely knew we had to do that. So when you all are having lunch, we're going to be playing those songs, and they're all hand-selected by Gramps himself, his absolute favorites. So just know when you're eating lunch, he wanted you to hear them. But back to my first drink. So we're at my dad's birthday party, and I'm sitting in the kitchen with my sister Bree and my friend Sarah, and of course Gramps. And my girlfriend Sarah and I were teenagers, and we're just whispering back and forth, and we're like, man, we really want to try alcohol tonight, you know, no one will know. And my sister at this point, she's 3 years older, she was already enjoying an adult beverage. And Grandpa turns to us, and he asks, what are you rascals whispering about? What are you rugrats whispering about? And I'm like, okay, let's just ask him, you know? And so we go to Grandpa, and we say, look, Grandpa, we really want to try alcohol tonight. And then we proceeded to explain, you know, we're here at the house, this is gonna be great, we're being really responsible by asking you, and he just stopped me and he's like, hey, you only live once. And so from there, we're all laughing, and my sister grabs these plastic cups, and she starts pouring a little tequila on them, and Grandpa stops her right there and goes, no, 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 no. If you are going to have your first beverage, you are going to do it right. So he then walks over to the freezer, and he grabs those really icy mugs out, and he sets them on the counter. After that, he gets a blender, he goes back to the freezer, and he gets a bunch of ice, puts it in the blender. He then opens the fridge, grabs the orange juice, grabs the coffee mate, and starts putting it in there, and then he tops it off with a ton of vodka. And this was Grandpa's famous Gatormator, which I know all of you know and have tried. It's the best thing in the whole entire world. But what happened is he blended it, and he hands it to us, and he had a scotch, so like we all cheers, and he goes, ladies, I want you to be careful though. If you have one or too many of these, you're gonna wanna mate with a gator. Hence the Gatormator. And so I know he's been having that drink forever, and I know all of us grandkids just love it, and we would always ask him to make it for us. So we just had so much fun that night. He really taught me how to, drink and enjoy alcohol in style, for sure. Now, fast forward to 15 years later. This was September of 2018, so not too long ago. I went to visit my grandparents and just spend some time with them. And I flew in from California, so it was just really late when I arrived. And I ended up, sneaking in, everyone's sleeping, and I get snuggled up on the couch and I fall asleep. A couple hours later, I'm woken up by this crazy loud blender. And I groggily open my eyes, I'm like, what time is it? What's going on? And I look and it's 5:58 a.m. And then I peer up and I see Gramps overlooking the blender. His eyes were just so happy and bright. He goes, "Lucky Lissy, what are you doing here?" And I'm like, "What are you doing up so early?" And he goes, "Well, I'm making myself my shake and then I'm gonna go to dialysis." And I go, "Well, do you need a ride?" And he goes, "No, I got it." He goes, "But here's the thing. When I get back, I'm gonna, rest for a little bit, but tonight, you and I are going out on a date." And I was just sitting there thinking, this amazing, incredible gentleman is 95 years old. And he's waking up in the morning, making his own shake, driving to and from dialysis, and then he wants to come and spend an entire night with his granddaughter and just enjoy one another. So he goes to dialysis, comes back, rests, and he ends up asking me, "Well, Lissy, I want to know if it's okay if we go on a quick errand." So we hop in the golf cart, and he goes, "If I'm going to be taking you out tonight, I have to look the best that I can. I want to be a true gentleman. Can you take me to get a haircut?" So we go, and he gets his haircut, and then we end up going to Katie Bell's, which was the perfect restaurant. The ambiance, the live band, the food, the people, just everything was so perfect. And as we were sitting there with our wine, with our appetizers, I had such a full circle moment of, here I was with my grandfather 15 years earlier. We were having my first drink, I'm a teenager, and here we are, two adults, mutually loving, respecting, enjoying each other's company, wonderful conversations, stories about the war, his life, and even at 95 years old, he was still teaching me lessons to get out of my comfort zone. That evening, the appetizers come, and escargot comes. And I'm looking at it like, oh no, I do not want any of that. And he's like, "Come on, Lissy, you gotta try, you have to try it." And I'm like, "I'm really okay, honestly, Gramps, I'm fine." He goes, "Lissy, if you never try it, you're not gonna know if you like it or not." And I go, "Dang it, Grandpa, you're always right." He always knew exactly what to say. So I ended up trying it, and I loved it. It was so good. And at that moment, I go, I have to interview Gramps. He has so much knowledge, so much life experience, so much wisdom. And I run a blog, and I figured I would love to write just an entire blog about him, interview him, and really do something, a piece, life according to my 95-year-old Gramps. So he said yes, he would love to, and I started interviewing him that night and the next morning. And two very big things stood out from interviewing Grandpa. Number one, he was madly, deeply in love with Lita. He loved Grandma so much. He would just brighten up anytime he talked about her, and I'm so grateful that he had you for 48 years of a beautiful marriage and life. You were just the perfect partner for him. So I know he loved you so much. And number two, I asked him this one question, and it brought me so much comfort, not only on that day, but also today. And I hope it brings you guys comfort. My question to him was, if you were to give your younger self advice, what would it be? And verbatim, he said, "Don't do anything different. I've led a very fortunate life." And I just thought, man, what an extraordinary thought to be 95 years old on this planet and to have felt that you lived a fulfilled, meaningful, purposeful, loved, marvelous life. And that's what he did. He did just that. So I'll close with this. Gramps had a superpower. He really was able to make people feel better and be better once they were in his presence. Whether it was his positivity, whether it was his words of wisdom, or maybe it was just a lending shoulder. He always made people better. And Gramps always knew that the younger generation was watching. We were listening, we were absorbing every single thing that he did. And you know, he always just showed such grace and humility and kindness and strength and perseverance. And he was and will always be a role model that I aspire to be like every dang day. So that being said, just remember, Gramps, he's always going to be in our hearts. And not only is he just in our hearts though, he's everywhere. He's in our laughter when we're doing hobbies that set our soul on fire. He's in our strength and determination when we fall down and we get back up and we try again. And he's in our mind every single day when we make our daily choices to be good, to do good, and to be the best damn versions of ourselves that we can possibly be. So Gramps, I love you so much. I'm so grateful for you. And rest easy. I know that you're dancing with the angels and hanging out with Nico. Thank you.